everybody, welcome back to Jessica's Reading Room. My name is Kim and it is time for another book to movie comparison video. And this time we are doing, ta-da, The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty. Woohoo! Everybody knows that I absolutely adore this book. For me, this is so classic horror. It's one of those books, it's honestly one of those books where it scares the crap out of me every time I read it. It gets creepy and chilling and you just sit there and you want to just take a break, go sit out in the sunshine, unless you're already out in the sunshine, in which case there's nowhere for you to go because you're scared anyway, which is what happened to me when I read it this year. But that's okay. So I went back and I decided to rewatch the Exorcist movie made all the way back in the 1970s. Right? Yes, we're going to say in the 70s. See, this is what happens when I don't do my research before I start the video. Okay. Anyway, so I decided to go back and rewatch the movie after I reread the book. And once again, I mean, rereading the book, it was just as good as it was the first time. Absolutely loved it. Honestly, some of the best writing. I mean, and considering the fact that this is like an old school book and this book is huge and it's like that typewriter font, it was so incredibly easy to read. I mean, I had it read in like 2 days and I was like, what? You don't expect that with a book like this. You don't, I mean, I just got so immersed in the story and you just get so involved. So I decided to sit down and rewatch the movie. Loved it. Honestly, it's one of those movies where I'm so glad I watched it. But this is not about just the movie itself. We're also going to be talking about it in relation to the book. Now, first off, I will say that a lot of it has to do with the fact that you are never, ever, 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 with the exception of the first 2 Harry Potter movies, going to get an exact facsimile of the book. It doesn't matter what you do unless you turn it into some huge TV series and literally use the book as a script. There is nothing, you are never going to get a perfect copy of the book on screen. It sucks, and I know that none of us want to acknowledge that, but it's true. And that was my main issue with the movie versus the book. There's a part of me that says you absolutely have to read the book before you watch the movie. Because I decided when I went to go watch the movie, I decided to try and be as objective as possible. And I will admit that it feels like if you haven't read the book, that you would miss out on a lot of stuff that's happening in the movie. You start out in the desert of Iraq. You're there with Father Merrin. He ends up finding that statue of Pazuzu, right? Pazuzu? I'm pretty sure that's his name. Okay, don't quote me on that because just my luck, I'm going to be giving you the wrong, okay, I don't know. Ah, it is Pazuzu. See? Not as bad as everyone says, huh? Boom. Okay, anyway. And basically you just kind of, whereas in the book you're getting this commentary of what's going on, in the movie you're just like, oh, that's a creepy statue. Huh. Okay. I mean, it's just, it's, you know? And where you get, in the book you have such vivid imagery happening. I mean, and honestly, I'm going to say that I'm pretty sure that this book has the most intense imagery of honestly just about anything else in literature. Talking about Regan laying there in her own vomit and her own excrement with her face slashed to ribbons, It's, I mean, you sit there and you read it and you literally see it. I mean, if you, when he's talking about Regan being tied down in her bedroom where it's freezing cold, but yet it still stinks to high heaven of the excrement, of the vomit, of rotting meat, of evil, you literally sit there and you can see it, you can feel it, you can smell it. Is it the most pleasant experience? No. But Blatty is able to describe it and to help you picture it so well that honestly, by the time you get to the movie, your imagination has already done all the work. And I'm not saying that the movie did a bad job. I have to say, for being a book to movie adaptation, they did a great job. It's just my main problem is that you are never, ever, ever going to recreate those same things as they are in the book. And that's my main criticism, because and like I said, there's a part of me that says you should read the book so you know all the details already, but then there's this other part of me that says that maybe you should watch the movie long before you ever read the book, because you'll get an introduction. You get to watch the movie without sitting there and being disappointed, because you already had it all in your head and the movie just doesn't match it. It doesn't matter how hard they try, the movie is never going to match it. And like I said, with so many of these book to movie adaptations, The Exorcist did not change. They didn't they didn't completely change the storyline to make it more interesting. They just condensed it. And I have to say that for condensing it, they still kept a lot of those feelings, a lot of the scare factor, a lot of those creepy things where you're just going, "Ooh, that's terrifying." But like I said, it's hard to match the feelings you're getting from the book. And I realize that that's going to be with every book to movie comparison that we're going to do. I'm going to say the exact same thing, but unfortunately it just kind of works. However, the casting was mostly all really good except for Detective Kinderman. He's the one thing that when I went back and rewatched the movie for the express purpose of being able to compare it to the book, I have to say I didn't like the guy or the portrayal of Detective Kinderman. In the book, he's far less malevolent feeling. In the movie, it feels like he's out to get Reagan. He's out to get Chris McNeil. He's out to get Father Karras. Whereas in the book, you definitely get this feeling that, you know what, he's smarter than he's letting on, but you don't get that sense of antagonism from him. He's a very likable character. Is he scattered? Absolutely. Do you still sit there and go, he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Is he going to be able to explain an exorcism and a possession in, relation to these crimes that are happening? But yet in the movie, you get a malevolence from him. And I'm just like, you know what? And I get it. Malevolence may be a little overdramatic, and that's fine. But it's the first word that popped in my head. But I didn't like the portrayal. I really didn't. It just felt he was too in control. And in the book, he is very much in control. He just doesn't let you know that he's in control. And that's the main difference between the book and the movie, is that everyone knows that Detective Kinderman could totally, ruin your life and come in here and he could totally figure out exactly what happened. And you know that he knows exactly what's going on. Unlike in the book, where he has everyone fooled. Everyone thinks, oh, Detective Kinderman, he's no problem. Oh, he's a scattered old man. Oh, he's too fat. Oh, he's going to die of lung cancer before anything ever happens. But then all of a sudden he shows up and he's like, oh, I know exactly what's going on. And you're like, whoops, okay. So he's the one casting choice that I really didn't like. I did feel like you missed out, because they cut out Carl and Willie's story, because they have their own kind of little storyline that happens, and it adds to the story, and you do kind of feel like you miss out on that, and it just... But like I said, it's condensed as opposed to being changed, and I'm okay with that. Now, I will definitely give major credit to the makers of the movie, because we're talking about some scenes in this book that while I was reading this book, I was going, how the heck are they going to put that on film? How the hell? I know this movie is rated R, and I realized that back then a rating, an R rating was a really big deal. Is it rated R? I think it's rated R. No, is it rated PG-13? Oh, I don't even know. Oh, dang, I have to go look that up. Okay, my bad. Anyway, the rating is, it's telling you, well, whatever, parental advisory, okay, whatever. But I mean, I'm just kind of sitting there going, how the heck are they going to put this stuff on the screen? One of them being when Reagan is penetrating herself with that crucifix. And it just, I remember when I was reading it for the first time and I was going, I don't know if I'm allowed to read this book. I don't know if that's really descriptive. That's really uncomfortable. You know what I'm talking? You know what I mean? You read books like that, and I just remember thinking, how the heck are they going to put that? How does that translate on screen? And they did it. And they did it successfully. And I was like, what the heck? I remember the first time I watched the movie, and that scene came up, and I was like telling Ivan, I was like, oh, prepare yourself. Oh, this is going to be really bad. Oh, get ready. And then they showed it, and they did it in this way where it portrayed all the horror and the terror and all the perversion of it, but yet it wasn't explicit enough to where you had to turn the TV off. And I was shocked and surprised and so pleased with the way they did it. And I have to say that, I mean, look, it's true. You're never going to get the experience with, reading the book as you will watching the movie. However, if you're not going to read the book, I will say the movie is an excellent way to know this story. This movie absolutely has my stamp of approval. If you haven't ever seen The Exorcist, you definitely need to watch it. And there you go. I don't think we've actually done a bad book to movie comparison yet. So, I mean, I just keep reading these books and then watching the movies where they did a really good job. And The Exorcist is one where they actually did a good job for the most part. I give it probably a 90%. And I mean, maybe it's because Blatty actually, not only did he write the book, but he also wrote the screenplay. I don't know, but we've also had other authors who did that. I mean, Ernest Cline did that with Ready Player One, and I hated that movie. So I don't know. But The Exorcist by William Peter Blatty, book is absolutely amazing. Please read it. Movie is also fantastic. I wish I could give you some kind of, direction on whether or not you should read the book first, but I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. I wish I could tell you, but I just don't know. But there you go. So The Exorcist, read the book, watch the movie, let me know what you think. Tell me your opinion. If you've read the book, watch the movie. Tell me how you feel the comparison is. Oh, and I'm still looking for horror suggestions. So if anybody has any horror books that they want me to read, make sure you put them down in the comments. Let me know what you think. And we'd love to get your opinions. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.